Have you ever felt trapped? Not by walls or bars, but by something far more subtle, something comfortable? That was me. My world was the soft glow of a screen, the gentle curve of a couch, the muted sounds of a world happening somewhere else, a world I wasn't part of. Days blurred into nights, marked only by the shifting light outside a window I barely looked through. The room was a mess, a perfect reflection of my mind, cluttered, stagnant, and slowly, quietly, suffocating. It felt safe, this little cocoon of mine. But safety isn't living, it's waiting. And I was waiting for nothing. Time has a funny way of disappearing when you're not paying attention. It just evaporates. One moment you're telling yourself, just 5 more minutes, and the next. A week has vanished. My phone was my master. Its endless scroll a lullaby of distraction. Each tap, each swipe was a tiny choice to stay put, to stay numb. I was consuming, not creating. Watching, not doing. And with every passing hour, a part of me felt heavier, like I was sinking deeper into the cushions. Into a life I hadn't chosen, but had simply allowed to happen. The worst part? I knew it. Deep down, a quiet voice was screaming, but the noise of comfort was louder. The change didn't come like a lightning bolt. It was a slow, painful dawn. It started with a decision, a single, tiny act of rebellion against myself. The alarm, for so long, it was just a suggestion, a morning negotiation I always lost. But this time, I won. The sound sliced through the quiet, and instead of hitting snooze, I sat up. My feet hit the cold floor. That small shock was the first real thing I'd felt in months. I walked to the window, pulled back the curtains, and saw the world in the pre-dawn dark. It looked alien, empty, and for the first time, it looked like an invitation. That first morning, stepping outside was like stepping onto another planet. The air was cold, sharp, and it burned my lungs in a way that felt brutally alive. The streets were deserted, painted in the lonely blues and oranges of a rising sun. There was no one to see me, no one to judge my awkward first steps. It was just me and the raw, quiet potential of a day that hadn't been wasted yet. I started to run. It wasn't graceful. It was clumsy, painful, and my body screamed in protest. Every muscle ached with the memory of disuse. But with every strained breath, I was breathing out the staleness, the apathy, the dust of my comfortable prison. The transition was a war of two worlds. The warm, soft glow of my room versus the cold, hard light of the morning. The seductive pull of the phone versus the unforgiving reality of a push-up on a cold floor. There were so many moments I almost surrendered. The siren call of the couch was powerful. The temptation to just go back to bed, to pick up the phone and disappear again, was immense. But then I'd remember that feeling of suffocation. I started to see comfort not as a reward, but as a cage, a beautiful, plush, inviting cage, but a cage nonetheless. I learned to turn my phone face down, a simple act, but it was me taking back control. I was choosing the discomfort. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about promises. It's about keeping the promises you make to your future self. The person I wanted to be couldn't be built on a foundation of maybe tomorrow. He had to be built today, in the cold, in the sweat, in the moments of wanting to quit. I started to see progress, not just in my body, but in my mind. The mental fog began to lift. The messy room became a clean space. The clutter in my head began to organize itself into clear thoughts, into goals. Each workout, each early morning, was a brick I was laying. I was building a new home for my mind, one founded on strength, not on excuses. The physical pain started to transform. The burn in my muscles wasn't a sign of weakness anymore. It was a sign of change. It was the feeling of old limits breaking. I started to crave it. I started to understand that the things we run from, the effort, the struggle, the discomfort, are often the very things that will save us. My posture changed. I wasn't slumped over a screen anymore. I was standing tall, my shoulders back, not out of arrogance, but out of a newfound sense of self-respect. I had earned this feeling. I had fought for it in the quiet solitude of the early morning. Looking back, that person on the couch seems like a stranger, a ghost from another life. The comfort he sought was a mirage. True comfort, I've learned, isn't the absence of difficulty. It's the strength to handle it. It's the confidence that comes from knowing you can face the cold, you can push through the pain, you can win the battle against your own inertia. The city doesn't look like a place that's happening without me anymore. It looks like a challenge. It looks like an opportunity. Now, when I stand and look out over the city, I don't feel small or disconnected. I feel a part of it. My breath still fogs in the cold air, but it's not a gasp for air. It's a steady, controlled rhythm. The world is no longer something to be watched through a screen. It's something to be met, to be engaged with, to be lived in. The choice is always there. The couch is still soft, the phone is still bright, but they no longer have power over me. The power is mine. This journey wasn't about getting a better body. It was about reclaiming my life. One uncomfortable, disciplined, and beautiful step at a time. And it's a journey that's never truly over. It's a choice you make every single morning. The choice to live. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.